Hi guys, welcome to today's session as we continue with our sales session. Happy Easter. I hope you had a good Easter for those of us that celebrated, and those of us that are, taking, participating in Ramadan. I hope you're finding good time to reflect. So this session is influenced by a sales session I had last week with the Coollink sales team. So shout out to Coollink. And I thought I should talk about different types of selling, but I really want to focus on consultative selling. But I'll just set the background because we use all those terms and there are different kinds of selling. You hear things like transactional selling, and that's mostly when you're just transacting with the client. The intention is not to build relationships or any of those things. It's just to do the exchange. And that's what the salespeople are focused on. It's normally used for less complex things or B2C. People just buy and they pay, and the salespeople manage that process. But also you have things like solution selling, and that's the years ago. When I was in the telco world, that was a big one. You see that a lot with the pre-sales team. They're more interested in helping the client on a solution to. They're discussing solutions and they're selling solutions. They're not involved in any other extra things. You normally use that when you're doing complex, you're selling something that's a bit complex. So it's good for the client to understand the right solution and that whole process of navigating that and nailing the right solution. So you see that a lot in a lot of B2Bs when you're selling complex. There is also relationship selling, and you can use a combination of both. So years ago as well, as a sales person, you had the pre-sales teams that were really focused on solution selling, while the sales or the account managers will really focus on relationship selling. And the key thing there is to build a relationship with the client, because trust is important. And once you build a relationship, you can sell anything, because you will sell many things. Think about it in the telco world. We are selling different things. Today is network infrastructure. Tomorrow is transmission, consulting, training. So there are other things you could sell, but you have to build a relationship. So relationship selling is quite good when it's trust is important, especially if it's very expensive projects or solutions or products, millions of dollars we are talking here. Then there's inbound selling, outbound selling. I've discussed a lot about that during our inside sales speech, and that's because inbound is mostly used when you have content marketing, you're using search engine and all that to drive traffic to you. So consumers are seeing things on your website, social media platform, and that drives traffic to you. And outbound is the opposite. Now you go searching for them. So that's more like the cold calling, the BDR we're talking about. You're sending emails, you're sending, you're going around doing cold calling, looking for those clients. Now the one I really want to talk about today is consultative selling. Used a lot in the B2B world, especially when it's complex. It's a combination of a couple of all these ones I've mentioned. And in consultative selling, you are focused in helping the client identify the issues, the gaps, the problems, and solve for them. So you need a bit of relationship selling. You need solution selling. So you're like a consultant for your client. You go there actively wanting to listen and identify with the client. Now, for all these types of selling I've said, I think if you don't remember anything, remember these three things. I think you should, as a salesperson, know. Of course, baseline, you need to know the core products you're selling, or solutions you're selling, or services you're selling. So you need to know features of the products or the advantages of using your solution, and also maybe the benefits to your end customer or the end consumer. But I think three things I would like you to have as a salesperson is: one, an active listener. Like you really are listening, and based on what you hear or you understand, you can ask questions and lead the client on. Two, you should be able to ask open-ended questions. You should be good at open-ended questions, because that's how you get information from client, and that's how you understand where the issues are. So do open-ended questions. And three, I think you should learn how to manage objection handling. When clients say no, or they're not sure, or they don't agree with what you're doing, how do you hold back your emotions and deal with it? Now, these three things I think are really important, and hopefully maybe in the next session we'll talk about objection handling. Have a great Tuesday.